Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's so good to be here with you guys today. This is probably one of the last podcasts that I'm recording before I have my baby. I am, it's Monday and my due date's on Thursday. So we'll see. It's also my first, so I could run long. I could run over. Who knows at this point? It's all up in the air. But yeah, I'm sitting on my bouncy ball here, batching some podcasts and getting prepared for all the things that are going to come with maternity leave. But anyways, enough about that. Today we're going to talk about how to get unstuck so that you can lose weight. My name's Hayley Sohn. I'm a nutritionist, weight loss expert, and host of your podcast. And this is feeling stuck. I think probably happens to almost every single person who wants to lose weight, because I hear it from almost every single person that comes to me and wants to lose weight. I'm stuck. And so today on this episode, we're going to go through why you feel stuck, what you can do to get unstuck so that you can start losing weight. Feeling stuck is very common. It's not going to get you anywhere. And you really have to understand how to get yourself out of this so that you can move forward and start losing weight. And I say this, that I've hear this from so many people. I know I say that on like probably every single episode. If you've noticed that. Sometimes I notice it and I'm like, I'm saying it again. But the reason that I say that is because I want you to understand that you're not alone. I think the diet and weight loss industry is very isolating. So if you've done a diet and it didn't work, what the diet will tell you is that it's your fault. You're the one, you're the problem, you're the reason that it didn't work. And really the reason that it didn't work is because diets don't help you look at your brain. They don't give you any tools that are useful for figuring out where you are now, how to move forward, and actually make a real change in your life, as opposed to just taking on another to-do list. Just what diets are. It's like, here's your list of foods that you're going to eat, and you're just trying to check them off every single day, or the points that you have to count, or the macros that you have to hit, and you're trying to check those boxes off, and you're really not taking it any deeper than that. There's no tools to take it any deeper into your brain of why you're overeating, why you want to eat cookies even though you're now doing the keto diet and not supposed to have cookies. That's what's really important, in my opinion. So I say this a lot. I hear it all the time. And that's because if you're feeling that way, I want you to know you're not alone. Like 99% of the people that I talk to who come to me and they want to work with me, they want to they understand that weight loss is coming from something deeper than just following a list of foods, that there's something else going on for them. It's coming from their brain. They all tell me this exact same things. They don't realize that, which is why I share that with you, because I don't want you to feel isolated. I don't want you to feel like you're the only one. You're not the only one. Your brain is just doing what every single other brain that has a weight issue is doing. They've all somehow come up with the same things. So that's good news for all of us, because it means that I can create these tools that will work for you, and it'll work for Sally and Jim over here. And we can all use them because our brains do the same things. so crazy. It's so interesting. So, anyways, we were talking about being stuck, feeling stuck, and getting unstuck so that we can start losing weight. So, if you feel stuck, you feel like you want to lose weight, but you find yourself eating all of the things, overeating, beating yourself up, you're spinning out on what you ate yesterday. You can't find the motivation. You've run out of willpower. You don't know where it went. You can't believe you got here, or you can't believe you let yourself get here. I hear that one a lot. Can't believe I let myself get here. I'm like, I can. Your brain is just running on its own. It has created this mindset loop for itself. You have no tools in order to disrupt that and move it somewhere else, move it in a direction that's really productive for you and helpful for you to lose weight. So, of course, you're here. Of course, you feel stuck. Of course, your motivation is nowhere to be found because your brain's just spinning out on this thing and it thinks it's doing a great job. And you don't have the tools to move forward and get out of it. So, okay, you feel stuck. This is why. First of all, just like I said, your brain is spinning out on a mindset loop right now. If you feel stuck, if you're not weighing what you want, it's spinning out on something that is not helping you. And it thinks it's doing a really good job. The one of the markers of a really healthy brain is that it's very efficient. The brain is designed, or kind of this older part of our brain is really designed to repeat things, to save energy. Every time it has to lay down a new neural pathway or start a new thought or start a new thought process, it has to expend energy. And when our brains were developing, that means that we have to go out and find more energy. We have to find more food. We have to hunt and gather and go out of the cave where it's dangerous and maybe risk our lives in order to get that energy. The brain wants to stay safe. It wants to stay energy efficient. It wants to chill out. So anytime it gets on a thought loop and process and it's got this neural pathway laid down, it's just going to repeat that until you come in and say, okay, this is not what I want this to look like anymore. I'm going to, try to make a change and move this forward. And that's what I really do with my clients. Like that's what we focus on. But I just want you to recognize that sometimes just looking at it that way and saying, okay, I'm not doing this on purpose. I didn't get myself here. My brain has done this out of efficiency and thinking it's doing a great job. It kind of relieves you of the burden of blaming yourself. You can kind of look at it in this more scientific way and just say, of course this happened. Now, starting right now, I'm going to take action to move forward and to change this and to build it up in the way that I want to do that and have it serve me. So that's really how I want you to kind of look at this. It's very helpful. It's very lightening. It can really lighten your load in terms of like blaming yourself and feeling like this is your fault. It's not. So one thing I hear a lot of why you feel stuck is it was working. It's not anymore. I've run out of willpower and motivation or motivation. Those are interchangeably used all of the time. So most people I talk to, I did a diet at some point, years or months, weeks, it's usually years. Like I did it like 3 years ago and it worked. I lost, however many pounds. And then I just couldn't stick to it anymore. I ran out of motivation. I just wasn't motivated and I can't get motivated again. Or like I was really willpowering my way through it and then I just couldn't do it anymore. And I need to get my willpower back. And this is like you're trying to recreate those emotions that you had back when you started this other diet. You're trying to find them again for yourself. But the truth of it is, or what I want to offer to you is that you have the ability to create emotions for yourself. You just haven't ever been taught how to do that. We aren't really, it's not something we learn in school. It's not something that we learn at any point in our lives, actually, really. But when you look at the brain and how it works, the brain creates thoughts, which create emotions. So wherever you are right now, feeling unmotivated, feeling stuck, those are emotions, and those are being caused by thoughts that your brain is spinning out. So when I say that your brain's stuck in like a mindset loop, it's just spinning out the same thoughts over and over and over again, which are creating the same emotions over and over again of no willpower, no motivation, feeling stuck. And that's where you're recognizing this is where I am, but you're also not realizing that you have actually complete control to move out of that, to create a different emotional state for yourself. That's really what I work on with my clients. When I coach my clients, when I talk about our coaching calls, that's what I'm doing. I'm diving into what thought process are you in? What emotional state is that creating for you? And how can we move that forward so that you're creating emotions that are much more beneficial for you to lose weight? And I don't mean taking that to the other side. If you feel unmotivated, I don't mean taking it all the way to like 100% motivated. We can't really do that usually, realistically. What we can do is move it one step forward, though, and start believing that it's possible and seeing that we've done it before, and knowing and realizing like, okay, I'm here and this is just ridiculous that my brain is really stuck on this. A lot of times it is, and it just takes us recognizing that in order to start moving forward. So feeling stuck, feeling unmotivated, feeling like you don't have willpower, those are just emotional states that your brain is creating on repeat. So we really want to focus on interrupting that. The second reason why you feel stuck is because you're in a cycle of eating and beating yourself up, and you're in the pendulum effect. Both of these two things I'm going to share with you are things that I've kind of created, theories that I've created based on what I've worked on with my clients. So first of all, pendulum, if you think about a pendulum, you pull it all the way up to one side, and once you let it go, it will swing equal and opposite. It will swing an equal distance in the opposite direction. So we pull this pendulum up all the way to one side, and that's us restricting. That came out really smooth. Like I've talked about it before. Jeez Louise. Okay, so we're restricting, we're basically pulling that pendulum all the way up onto one side. We're saying, I'm only going to have smoothies or shakes today. I'm really going to cut out my calories and yada, yada, yada. And then at a certain point, we can't hang on to that anymore, or we have something tempting pop up, like it's Friday pizza day at work, or someone brought cookies to the break room, and that pendulum drops and it swings all the way to the other side, and now we're overdoing it. And my goal for you, for all of my clients, is we don't want the pendulum swinging at all. There is no need. The restricting and overdoing it pendulum cycle is only created out of reactiveness. So we are reacting to overdoing it by restricting, and then we're reacting to that restriction by overdoing it. No one has ever told me, oh, what I want for the rest of my life is to be restricting and then overdoing it. We don't want that, but that's what we're creating for ourselves. We're trying to like undo having overdone it with restricting. which is then just causes us to rebound with overdoing it. But it's what we don't want that at all. You wouldn't choose that. So we need to start getting that pendulum centered, dead centered, and just very still. And I'm going to talk about that. And then the other piece of this, these kind of go hand in hand usually, is the GSR cycle. That's the guilt, shame, regret cycle. So usually what this looks like is you eat something that you didn't plan to eat. Sometimes this kickstarts when we're on a diet, a restrictive diet. So we're following the diet, it's going okay. Maybe we're losing some weight. There's cookies in the break room. We have the cookies. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That's the worst thing ever. What's wrong with you? Why did you do that? We take ourselves into beating ourselves up. Guilt, shame, and regret is what we're creating. And because that feels so bad, when we start beating ourselves up, because being in a perpetual state of guilt, shame, and regret feels so bad, we start emotionally eating to cover that up. And guess what? We get right back into beating ourselves up because we just ate. And it's this cycle that perpetuates itself. So we eat something, we beat ourselves up. We eat something, we beat ourselves up. It's very hard to get out of. So that's another kind of similar to the pendulum. Like we have to break that cycle in order to get unstuck. We have to break the pendulum in order to get unstuck. Those two cycles will keep you stuck in them forever unless you can slow it down, break those up, and move on, and really show your brain, like, we don't want to do this. This is not helpful, and I'm not going to do this anymore. Even like yo-yo dieting is kind of like a mass scale pendulum. We go on this diet and we restrict for a couple of months or for a year, and then we're off of it. And the pendulum has swung the other way. We're just eating all the things that we didn't get to experience when we were on the diet. And really, my goal for everybody is like, you just get to live this life where there's no restriction, there's no overdoing it. You get to enjoy the foods that you want to enjoy. You get to make those conscious choices, and there's no guilt in them. There's pleasure in feeling good in your body, and then there's pleasure in eating something that you like that maybe doesn't leave you feeling that good, like a cookie, but you actually, okay, just getting that pendulum centered. That's the goal. And number 3 reason why you feel stuck is because your toddler brain is running the show. We do not realize that we have 2 parts of our brain that help us make decisions. We have this old primitive brain, the toddler brain, I refer to it a lot as, and then we have our like adult cognitive prefrontal cortex brain, which sets us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. It's what makes us humans. We can plan and look into the future and set goals. However, that part of your brain, the part of your brain that makes you a human, is not being utilized at all to make food decisions. The toddler part of your brain, the same part of your brain that your dog has, that's what's making your food decisions right now. Much like a toddler, it wants what it wants, and it wants it right now. And it doesn't care about your weight loss goals. It doesn't even know what that means. It's like dopamine, pleasure from food. That's what we're after. Give it to me now. I will throw a fit. I will be a dog with an empty food bowl, barking and yapping and annoying the crap out of you until I get what I want. That's exactly what it does. And that part of your brain is making all of your food decisions. You feel out of control. You feel like you cannot get it under control. You feel like you can't quiet it down. It's talking all of the time about food and about what you want to eat. And you have to really manage that part of your brain, understand what's going on in that part of your brain in order to move forward. Otherwise, you will be stuck. You will feel very stuck. And that's, again, a huge part of what I work on with my clients. And that's where we really dive into like emotional eating and urges and cravings and wanting to eat things that don't actually align with where we want to be. So this is a big part of weight loss. It's the thing that diets don't touch on at all. None of these things do diets really touch on, but that one in particular is really crucial. So how do we get unstuck? First and foremost, we're going back to that emotional piece. So if you feel stuck, that's an emotion that your brain is creating. Can't believe we're here. We're never going to get out of this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. I'm so confused. All of those thoughts are going to make you feel stuck. So recognizing where you are now, what thoughts is your brain spinning out on that are causing you to feel stuck, that are causing you to feel unmotivated, you need to recognize that. This is the piece, you guys. We're not taught this. Most people come to me like, and we do a coaching call, and I show them this, and they're like, "It's so obvious, but I've never like heard this before or learned this before." Once you see it in action, you're like, "Oh yes, I get this," but it's not something we're ever really exposed to. So you want to start recognizing where you are now and creating an emotional state for yourself on purpose to move yourself forward. So, this is the thought loop that my brain is stuck in right now. I kind of just went through a bunch of those, and you need to figure out what it is for you. This is the emotional state that those thoughts are creating for me. That's why I feel like I am here. That's why I'm in the emotional state I'm in, is because of the thoughts that my brain's creating. And this is how I can move forward. So, mostly what I work on with my clients is just one step forward. We're not taking it to the other side. Kind of said this before, but we don't need to take no motivation to 100% motivation. We just need to take it one step forward to, I believe that I can do this. I've done it before. I know how to do this. I'm always just going to be looking for the next best step. Those kinds of thoughts that are empowering, that leave you feeling better, but they're kind of just gateway thoughts. They're not to the other side. I feel amazing. I'm 100% motivated. I'm going to crush it today. You can't believe that right now. You've been feeling like you're stuck and unmotivated for years. So you're not just going to jump to like, I'm so motivated. It doesn't work like that. You just need to take it one step forward and work on that every single day. What's the next best step for me to feel less stuck today? And usually, once we recognize that our brain has just been spinning out on this thought process for a year or 3 years, it's like, oh, that's unburdens us of like half of whatever's been going on. And now we just have to have consciousness around when that starts to pop back up and how we want to move it forward. And again, you don't have to generate motivation or willpower to get unstuck. You don't have to generate anything that's super positive. I'm so excited. You really don't. You just need to recognize where you are and take the next best step forward. This is possible for me. I believe that I can do this. I know that I've done this before. I want to do this. Because a lot of times when people come to me, I should be doing this. I could have done it differently. I should have done it this way. Well, I don't know why I did it that way. I should have done it this way. How about what do you want? So I always redirect shoulds and coulds to want, because saying I should eat healthy today, that feels terrible. I want to eat healthy today. That's empowering. So you need to actually be thinking about, how am I going to frame this for my brain that creates the emotional state that I want? Not necessarily motivation and willpower, but it is one step forward to get me unstuck. And then secondly, letting go of your reactive restriction overdoing it cycle. You are reacting to your restriction with overdoing it and you're reacting to your overdoing it with restriction. You need to let go of both of those. Once you can do that, you can actually tap in and start listening to your body. Your body has everything it needs to weigh what it wants to weigh, and it will tell you. You just haven't been listening. You've been trying to like override your body's natural signals with like, I know better. I'm gonna create this diet plan for myself. Let your body take the lead on that. Drop the reaction, overdoing it, underdoing it, drop all of that. Let your body take the lead on this. Slow it down. Every time your brain tries to jump into like, we just need to have shakes today. Nope. We're going to listen to the body today, what it's telling me, what feels good. I encourage my clients to ask themselves, how do I want to feel physically? Do I want to feel light and energized? Do I want to feel comforted and grounded and warm and fuzzy inside from my food? Do I want to feel groggy and bloated and greasy and stuffed and physically uncomfortable? Because those are all options, you guys. They're all options. So you get to decide, and I want you to put that conscious awareness to the front instead of, I'm going to try to override whatever my body's telling me by outsmarting it and going on the shake diet. And additionally, having awareness around what your brain is telling you when it's beating you up because of what you ate. That's really huge. It's just awareness, really. Honestly, that's what when I teach the GSR cycle to my clients, which is the guilt, shame, regret cycle, I teach them that the thing that they need in order to get out of that is awareness. What is their brain telling them that's keeping them in that? You need to be able to hear those thoughts. That was the worst thing ever. I can't believe you did that. You're a terrible person. That was disgusting. You need to crawl in a hole. You should never eat again. We're never doing that again. I'm never, ever having ice cream again. None of that's helpful. It's keeping you stuck. When you're in that cycle of telling yourself that stuff, you're just going to start eating again. So having awareness around that, what your brain is telling you, so that you can move forward and move on and move out of that. And then putting the adult part of your brain in charge. The part of your brain that can plan and set goals. That's the part of your brain that needs to be making your food decisions. This is foundation one for my clients. First thing we do. Put adult Hayley in charge, adult you in charge, your prefrontal cortex. We do this by planning. One example that I use is if you didn't plan to go to the gym today. You got up, no plans to go to the gym. You don't have a gym bag, you haven't thought about it, there's no time set aside. What are the odds that you're going to go to the gym? That you're going to find yourself at the gym today? Everybody says zero. Zero odds of that I will just find myself at the gym. We plan to go to the gym, right? We plan for it. We set time aside. We pack our gym bag. We have a water bottle. We have a workout in mind or a class that we're going to. We plan for all that. We think about it ahead of time so that we make it to the gym. But we don't do that with our food. We don't say, we wake up essentially and say, all right, I'm going to try to eat really good today. And then you walk into the break room and there's a plate of cookies. And it's like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to have some cookies. There's no plan. There's no planning. You're not activating your prefrontal cortex in order to allow yourself to eat the way that you actually want to eat. You have to do this. It is so crucial. It's not something that you're probably going to have to do super seriously forever. You'll get really good at putting that adult part of your brain in charge and knowing what feels good, and kind of really aligning with the adult, your prefrontal cortex, more so than that toddler part of your brain. But to start, this is crucial. If you tell me, like, my New Year's resolution is to go work out 5 days a week, I'd be like, okay, what's your plan for that? Like, have the time set aside, have your gym bag packed. Same thing with the food. Have some time set aside to think about what you're eating, to write it down, so that you can actually follow through on this. There has to be a plan, or else it's not going to happen. That toddler brain will step right in, and pretty soon you'll be, through an entire family-sized bag of chips. So you need to put the adult part of your brain in charge by planning. That's what it does. It can plan. Okay, so when you do these things, once you know how to create emotions for yourself, you can actually start losing weight easily. You never have to feel stuck. You recognize that you don't have to feel stuck, and you recognize where feeling stuck is coming from, where feeling like you have no willpower is coming from. And you can consciously step in and change that, alter that. Every emotional state that you're in is a choice. You just haven't ever been empowered to look at it that way and think about it that way. You can always move yourself out of where you are so that you can move forward. You don't have to feel frustrated or guilty. You can feel confident. You can feel certain. You can feel freedom around food. You can feel happiness right now. Happy about where you are right now. Truly. Secondly, your brain, you can get it to this place where it quiets down about food. You have a lot less mental chatter, a lot less mental space taken up thinking about what you're going to eat, what you're not going to eat, what you ate yesterday. You can just quiet that all down. There's no chatter. For me, for many of my clients, there's no chatter. It's like, this is what I'm eating, and that's it. I'm not thinking about it. And there's no need to underdo it and then overdo it and beat yourself up and get stuck. You're just free of all of that. It's incredible how much you can get done when your brain isn't thinking about food all the time. And then finally, you get to be in control of what goes in your mouth, like 100% in control. If you don't want to eat it, you don't. You can dial down your scale. You know how to do that because you know how to be in control. You can drop weight effortlessly. You are in control of what goes in your mouth. It's incredible. It's freeing in a way that is just amazing. I was going to say it's indescribable. Very helpful, I'm sure, when you're listening to a podcast. But just picture what that would look like for yourself and set that goal of working towards that, of becoming that person who is in control, who's free around food, who doesn't have to think about it all the time. Okay? All right, that is your podcast for today. How to get unstuck so you can lose weight. I know you can do it. You're 100% capable of it. If you're like all of my clients, you can do it. Okay? All right, I'll see you on the next episode.